I'm giving very serious thought to eating your wife.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Back with a new video. Today we are diving into book 3 of the Hannibal series, and that is Hannibal, the book itself. Again, this book is a really great part of the series, and again, I'm interested and very excited to talk about it. I will point out really quickly that out of all the books I've read, Red Dragon, The Silence of the Lambs, and now Hannibal is a lot different than the movie, because I've seen all the movies before I've read the books, and I just want to point out slightly that the ending and some parts in the book actually are different than the movie itself. And for those who have read the book and seen the movies, you know what I'm talking about. And again, let's dive right into the book. Now, like I mentioned, Hannibal is the third book in the series. It was published in 1999. Thomas Harris did a great job with this as well. As I read these books in chronological order of publication, it is really seeing that, again, this series is a great and intense series all the way through. These psychological thrillers that Harris has written are really great characters. And when you hear of Hannibal Lecter, Dr. Hannibal Lecter, you know that he is an intense antagonist in the book. And again, with Clarice Starling returning for book 3, we dive right back where we left off to in Silence of the Lambs. If you've seen Red Dragon and you've seen Silence of the Lambs, you'll understand the progression of what I'm going through in my book review. So again, if you have not checked those out, I'll leave the links in the description below. We know at the end of Silence of the Lambs that Dr. Hannibal Lecter has escaped from custody. Hannibal has actually escaped to Florence, Italy. And again, when this transitions into book 3, we understand that Clarice Starling is back in the States. She is again kind of not forgotten of Hannibal Lecter, but she is doing her own thing as in progression to what's going to happen when they actually come in contact with Hannibal Lecter again. So we start with Clarice Starling. Again, she's been in the FBI for some years now. And again, she's not that rookie she was in Silence of the Lambs. She's an actual trained and veteran FBI agent. In the beginning, she's going through and trying to bust up this drug raid that's about to happen. Again, the woman that Clarice Starling is trying to stop, she is a meth dealer. And again, she has actually an infant in her. Underneath the infant, she's hiding a gun. As Clarice Starling has her in her sights, again, the meth dealer is coming closer, has her baby in her arms. But again, as she pulls out a gun, that's when Clarice Starling has to take the shot. That shot that Clarice Starling takes actually starts to botch and destroy her career from the moment that she first pulled the trigger. Now, as Clarice Starling's career is actually going down the drain, Hannibal Lecter is still keeping eyes on Clarice Starling because he is obsessed with her. He's very interested in her. That's why he never harmed her anyway. Hannibal Lecter keeps tabs on Clarice Starling, and again, he follows her within the news, and he sees that her career is actually going down the drain. So he sends her an actual mysterious, out of the blue condolence letter. And again, in this condolence letter, he knows that he loves getting information from Clarice Starling about her personal life. Again, he's trying to pick up back where he did in the Silence of the Lambs. Again, trying to dig deep into her subconscious and her conscious mind of what actually happened in her childhood and what actually happened in her life. Now, there are many characters in the Hannibal book, but again, with the main characters obviously being Clarice and Hannibal, there's one more character, one more antagonist we have to talk about, and that is Mason Verger. Mason Verger was Lecter's wealthy former patient, and again, his actual 6th victim. Again, Mason's past encountering Dr. Lecter kind of got into his mind and made him do some sadistic stuff to himself. Again, basically on a ventilator. Mason's face is so deformed and disfigured from, again, the injuries that he had brought on to himself because of Hannibal Lecter, and it's just a gruesome scene. Again, especially if you've seen the movies, I've seen the visual, and I put the visual in my head as I was reading the stories, so I really have a good grasp of what actual Mason looks like in the story. As Clarice Starling is trying to search for Hannibal Lecter, so is Mason Verger. He is trying to plot against him and trying to get the biggest revenge and payback on Hannibal Lecter in the most sadistic and abusive way that he possibly can. As Hannibal Lecter, as you know, is on the most wanted list, Mason Verger puts out a bounty for Hannibal Lecter and again is trying to get him in his grasp. As we fast forward, we know that Hannibal Lecter actually leaves Florence and comes right back to the States because he is so interested in Clarice Starling and her life that he's trying to basically stalk her, get close to her. With that being said, that obviously things happen where, you know, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but it comes to a reasoning to believe that Hannibal Lecter is actually in trouble for himself. So we go towards the end of this book, and again, this was a great read overall. Hannibal Lecter and Starling finally meet face to face again. They interact in kind of weird and unusual ways, and this is kind of like a difference I've noticed between the book and the movie. In the story, there's certain parts in the book that doesn't happen in the movie. In the movie, they do have the kind of similar endings, but it's not to the T. I did find the ending very interesting with the book and how the differences between the book and the movie movie. And again, all of you people, the viewers and subscribers who have ever watched the movie or read a book and compared the two, you're either putting one above the other, but again, that's totally up to your own opinion. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Hannibal was a great read, and I actually do find it more interesting towards the end when Clarice Starling and Hannibal Lecter again meet face to face. Dr. Lecter's feeding off Clarice Starling and her actions and her, emotions and whatever she's doing in front of him, and that's what kind of like engages him and the animal inside of him. Not to hurt her, obviously, but again, to get more acquainted to her as well. Like books 1 and 2, no surprise, I give Hannibal 5 stars. I really enjoyed this book. I do highly recommend it. Now with book 3 checked off the list, we are going into the last and final book of the series, and this is actually interesting because you could read this book first or you could read it last. And again, I chose this to read it last because it is in order of publication, and I have seen the movie that is actually last, and that is Hannibal Rising. So again, we'll dive more deep into this when I finally read it, but this is actually going back into Hannibal before he became Hannibal Lecter the Cannibal. Really interested, really excited to read this. And again, I found this book and I found, the regular Hannibal book all at a thrift store basically with these, and they're nice hardcovers. They're really good condition, and again, I'm a big lover of hardcovers. Hannibal Rising, I know just from the movie, is going to be really interesting because there's certain parts of the book really tell you how Hannibal became a cannibal and how he became, this known wanted serial killer. So again, comment in the comments below if you've read Hannibal. Book 3 is a great read. I highly recommend it. And any of the other ones you have read, like Red Dragon, Silence of the Lambs. I must say before I leave everyone, I want to thank everyone who's been subscribing to me lately. I know I just did a recent Michael Jackson reaction video, and again, that's getting a ton of hits, and again, more subscribers by the day. So I thank you all who are subscribing to me. You have no idea what this means to me. Again, I give my thanks as much as I can to all my subscribers, my viewers, people who interact with me with the comments. I have really good friends on the Bookstagram, and I have really good friends when I do my music reaction videos. Again, books and music are a huge part of my life, and I can't thank you enough for being with me and continue to be on this journey with me. It is a blast. And again, the bookshelf behind me, it's only going to continue to get bigger. And again, the music and my love for music is continuing to grow to this day. I know countless amounts of music genres, artists, and bands. I love talking to my viewers and subscribers about that. If you've seen this video this far, again, I have tons of gratitude towards you. And again, you are the main reason that my channel is this successful. And again, I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. And again, stay tuned for all these videos. There are more book and music reaction videos to come this summer, so stay tuned, everyone. And like I say, my friends, those who all know, please read your book cover to cover. We'll see y'all later.